A lovely welcome to another very interesting episode of My Church and I. Excited to know that you are on the other side of the screen right here on Crown Television. My name is Chinyimba Daisy Mwansalusumpa, or you can call me Chichi Daisy.
And my name is Mainzambala Simaliki. Now, you know My Church and I is the show that dives into everything talking about the church, everything to do with the church. We want to know your stories. We want to be able to share the good stories, the interesting stories, and sometimes controversial stories. Now, keep in mind, you are watching us on DSTV channel 277, GoTV channel 23, Topstar channel 89543 on the StarTimes app, and also we are live on Facebook and we are live on YouTube, and that is Crown TV Zambia.
Absolutely. The show aims to inform, educate, restore hope, and all conversations around the church. Now, today is a very peculiar episode because if you follow social media and you follow specifically Prophet Ian Genesis, I'm sure you have an idea of what happened. And we figured, look, let's call in the prophet. Let's have a conversation about this. And we need to make sure we are clear. The aim is not to attack anybody, but I think we just need clarity and further information to understand exactly what happened on that fateful day when the wife put up a post. Man of God, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you so much, Mainza, Chichi. Thank you so much for having me. As you know, my name is Prophet Ian Genesis, and I am the man that is carrying the Genesis mandate, demonstrating the God of the beginning in the now. And I'm happy to be on this show, especially that it deals with church.
Yes.
Amazing.
Let's talk about Charisma Ministry. I love the name. How did you birth the name? I like it. Charisma Ministries International.
Right.
Charisma Ministries International is a ministry that is birthed out of failure. It doesn't originate from Zambia. First of all, I had a ministry in Zambia called Grace of Fire Embassy, which in the early 2013, 2014, we had struggles and we failed. Practically, the ministry closed. I had to move from Zambia, I had to move to Botswana, consequently from Botswana, Zimbabwe, South Africa. So in 2018, when God inspired me and gave me a word to come to Zambia, he gave me a name of the ministry, coming from a background of failure. He gave me a name of the ministry, Charisma Ministry International. Charisma means the energy of God, the power of God, what God can do after you fail. Yes.
Charisma. You know what, Chichi? With all this energy that I have in this life, I need to visit the man of God's church.
But to become a prophetess?
So I'm just charismatic and I can just find myself belonging. So I'm not judged for my energy. But you know what, man of God, on this show, we like to start off with something really interesting. We call it Confession Booth, right?
Okay.
And with Confession Booth, we want to get to know something about you that people don't know. Something private, it could be a secret, it could be just an interesting fact about you that many people don't know.
Okay, you want to know what many people don't know?
Yes.
Yes.
Maybe the fact that my left ear is pierced.
Hey, what's the story? Tell us, what is
I
the
like
story
that. What is
there?
the background story, man of God?
So when I was about 13 or 14, we used to see these guys that, Neo.
Yes.
Neo and them,
Yes.
they have a piercing and all that. And we just, being teens, wanting to belong. So me and my friends went out and had my ear pierced.
My goodness.
Yes.
You know, now I can see because I'm on his left, eh? And I can see that really it is pierced, Chichi.
I hope next time the prophet is ministering in church, I hope members wouldn't be like, hey, you can't change anything. No, but man of God, thank you so much for coming on the show, really. Obviously, taking in mind that today is a very sensitive conversation, talking about your personal life, your wife, and obviously a little bit of the ministry. But I think let's start off light and just knowing how you met the love of your life, Vivian. What is the background story to this particular love story?
Okay, so I was in South Africa in 2015. 2016. So I had a friend, a prophetess called Prophetess Thelma. She's based in Mozambique. So Prophetess Thelma and Vivian were mother and daughter situation. So Prophetess Thelma, Vivian was going through some stuff. And Prophetess Thelma recommended that there's a prophet I know in South Africa that could help you. She was here in Zambia. So Prophetess Thelma gave her my number, and then she got in touch with me. So when she got in touch with me in South Africa, it was not a relationship kind of arrangement. And it's very unique in that I didn't even know that we were going to become anything anywhere. So we were talking, and then I prayed for her, prayed with her, and truth be told, Vivian is one of the people that is so committed to the prophetic ministry. I remember the first offering that Vivian gave me while I was in South Africa is $300.
Oh.
Yes. So we prayed, and down along the line, I wanted to do a meeting in Zambia. So I wanted her to arrange something for me, and I have a trigger, I have a short temper. So I sent her as my spiritual daughter to go do something for me. She didn't have the time to do it, and I blocked her.
Man of God.
He did not even get upset.
No.
He went straight to a block.
So 2016, I've blocked her. I don't talk to her. 2016, 2017, 2018, I'm back in the country, in Zambia. I didn't come practically for a ministry. I just came to visit. This is the beginning of the year. So I'm in Cairo Road with a friend. We are looking for a suit. We're about to go for a meeting in Chiwombo. We're looking for a suit. So I'm going to buy a suit, and then I have three senses as a prophet. I can see, I can hear, and I can feel. So I'm near Lima Tower, and I'm hearing a voice. Your wife is here.
Wow.
My wife is here. So now the Spirit of God begins to direct me to where my wife is. Remember, I've told you, I don't talk to Vivian. I don't know where
her.
I blocked her. I don't know where she works. So I'm up on Iringa Mall. She was working in PhD Ministries as their national coordinator. So I'm up on the stairs. I'm following my voice. So I enter into this office, and I find her seated at the front desk with all our colleagues. And the Spirit of God tells me, this is going to be your wife.
Wow.
And when she sees me, she remembers, oh, this is the man of God that blocked me. Apparently, he sent me to do something, and he blocked me. So when I reach there, I greet her, and I talk to her. I tell her, give me your number. I'm going to look for a suit.
Did she respond?
Yes, because
That can never be me.
this is the man of God. He blocked
You
me.
blocked me. Why am I saying hi back?
No, because I blocked her because I sent her to do something, and
She was in the wrong.
She didn't do it, and it was the work of God. So that's why I
I like
blocked her.
that. Yes.
Yes, so she was excited to see me. This is prophet. After a long time, the following day, I called her and I told her, I'm going to marry you.
Oh my.
Wow.
You know, I've heard these stories before where, like, you just know. Shouldn't be
Yes,
prophets. You
yes.
often just know. Say, this is my wife.
I've had a couple of people that knew that I knew. Sorry. Sorry, I digress.
Yeah, so me and my wife dated only for 3 months.
Wow.
After 3 months, went ahead and we got married.
I love that.
So it's both you know, when I talk about how my wife and I met, I was not looking to get married. I was coming from a place where for 2 years of my life before that, I was heavily disappointed. So I didn't want to get married, and I had given up on relationships. I just wanted to be a man of God and just be ministering. So it comes from a place of not only the Spirit of God, but it comes from a place of conviction. You know, you meet somebody that is wonderful, that is devoted to the work of the ministry. My wife is very, very devoted to God. And when I told her, I'm going to marry you, she said, the time that I went to their office, she knew.
Oh, wow.
She knew. So fast forward, we got married in 2019. 2019, we got married, and been married for, this is our 8th year. This is going to be our 8th year of being married.
Nice.
Yes.
Now, just to take you back a little bit, you are known as one of the most influential men of God in the country. You are known as one of the greatest prophets in the country, but it's no secret. You are a young man of God, yet so influential. Take us back a little on how you found yourself in ministry. Was it a calling at a very young age? What happened? How did you find yourself to be a prophet, the prophet that you are today?
Well, it's something that I don't really talk about on a daily basis, because my journey has been a journey of learning. And when you say you are the most influential, I'm getting it from you, but I tend to think my influence doesn't come from being a prophet. It also comes with the burdens of what I've been through and the many battles that have been in my life that makes me who I am. If you're asking about my background, I've been a prophet since I was 8, 9 years old. I'll give you how I have a very unique birth. I have a very unique birth. My mother was 11 months pregnant when she was struck by lightning. And when she was struck by lightning, there's a Bemba saying, they call it Ulukombo lwa mushi.
What does that mean?
There's the water for the king. So my mother died while she was pregnant with me. So they had to get that water for the king and wash her with the water for a king. And after that, during my birth, somebody prophesied and said, this boy is going to be a prophet. But they didn't say he's going to be a prophet. They said he has a calling. So in the village, when you say a calling, some people felt like maybe I'm going to be a witch doctor. Because they said he can see, he can hear, he can read the future. So at 9 years old, I hear things, I see things, I say things, and they come to pass. So at that age, I didn't know whether I'm a prophet or just a seer, but I was just born gifted by God. Now, if I'm going to talk about my upbringing, I come from a very, 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 very hard background. A hard background, not because I came from a background of people that were poor. I come from a very strong, financially strong background, but I grew up suffering. My father and my mother divorced. So because my father and my mother divorced, I was very close to my mother. And because I was very close to my mother, I was hated by my father. And in so doing, because of that, I was raised differently from my siblings. I was, up to today, even now as I speak to you, I don't have a good relationship with my father, because there have been references that have been made by my father that it is only the mother that knows the father of the child. So I grew up in a lot of pain. I grew up, my father is a very successful man, he's a very wealthy man, and I took myself to school. I used to go to the farm, do farming, and take myself to school. So I come from a background that many people, when I tell them that I suffered a lot in my life, they don't believe. Because my father was, because now he's not the way he used to be. But during the time that I was growing up, my father was successful. So yeah, I've always been a prophet, and me being a prophet actually helped me even in school, because the people I prayed for would honor God and take me to school, pay for my fees, and that's pretty much my background.
Interesting, very insightful, Prophet. I think a lot of people see you on screen, like you do speak on radio and television, but I don't think a lot of people know this about you. So I was so grateful that you would open up in this context about your background and ministry. Now, fast forward, you know, you're married. It's been 8 years later, and we did see a fallout of some sort, we can call it. Following you on social media, yourself, your ministry, and your wife, I can see how you two love each other. You express it publicly and freely, right? And then we just saw a post, you know, that your wife posted. For those of you who might not know, we can share it on the screen for context. And we also did see you in the comment section, you know, and obviously that as well can be placed on screen. But from your recollection, run us back the circumstances leading to that post that your wife made.
Okay, you've rightly put it that you need context.
Yes.
Being influential demands a lot. And for the past 1 year, I believe in truth. The Bible says you shall know the truth, and the truth shall set you free. The past 1 year of my life, I've been very busy. I've been sort of an absent husband, an absent father, but that is not to say I've not been providing for my family. I've been so busy that I'm in and out of the country. I'm in ministry, and sometimes being in ministry demands that I leave my house. I'm in exclusion, I'm in prayer, sometimes 2 weeks, sometimes 3 weeks, sometimes 6 months. I remember just recently, I was in the nation of Nigeria for a month, a solid 1 month. And so that has been, me and my wife have been having those kinds of conversations that, you know, you are too busy, you need to slow down. Not coming from a place of hate, but it was coming from a place where my wife realizes that he's overworking, and him overworking is affecting our marriage. You know, even when I'm home, I'm not really home. Somebody could just call me there and then it's a prophet, there's an issue. You know, I have 3 circles of people. I have what I call the inner circle of people. Then I have people that is the church,
Yes.
Charisma Ministries. Then I have people that call in through my personal assistant. So the inner circle, these are people that have taken my ministry as their own, and I take their life as my own. So sometimes I could just arrive home today from a trip, and then someone has got an issue that requires me to go to the mountain for 7 days. I would leave my wife. I've just arrived. I will leave home. This happens on a regular basis. I'll leave home and then go and attend to that matter. So because of that, because I'm trying to go to the post,
Yes.
and how I responded to the post. So when my wife made that particular post about how children grow up neglecting, that's how I understand it. They grow up not being connected to their mothers and all those things. I felt like my wife is making reference to my upbringing, which for me I felt very, very bad because of how I grew up. I grew up from neglect, and I felt like that post is telling me that I'm also mistreating my children, who consequently grow up like me and turn into a bad father. And I don't consider myself to be a bad father. And remember, me and my wife have had conversations, which these are valid conversations, and she has valid points, but I felt like coming to social media with those struggles is an attack on me. And then I have a lot of restraint. These days I don't easily respond. But when I looked at that post, it reminded me of, am I truly being a bad father?
Man of God, sorry to cut you short. You know, most of us, we do come across things that are quite relatable to our lives, and sometimes we're just like, I wish I could share this, maybe for a particular enemy, for whatever reason. But in your context, it's different because you are a man of God, a prophet, and your wife is also like, you know, she's a warg as well. And it's quite rare for us to see the back and forth of man and wife, especially a man of your caliber. But let me just take you back to, you mentioned you have temper. Did it snap in that moment? Did you not think, oh my gosh, maybe let me call my wife, let me not respond in the comment section?
Okay, this is where everything gets interesting, because I only saw that post 3 a.m. in the morning. I didn't see it when it was posted. Who saw it? I saw it 3 a.m. in the morning, and I snapped. It's my fault. I snapped. And when I snapped, I started typing. Okay? I started typing, and after I finished typing, I replied. Then I woke my wife up.
So, hold on, man of God. The opening of this post that your wife had stated and put on her profile is, a man doesn't treat you the way he treats his mother. He treats you the way his father treats his mother, right?
Yes.
And it goes on to read so much. But as Chichi said, there's a lot of content on social media that we come across as individuals, right? Now, in this moment, you are in the same house as this woman, okay? And if you allow me to just get into it a little bit more, she's probably on social media, okay?
Yeah.
And she's scrolling through so many different posts. And she comes across this post that could even relate, one, it could relate to you, but also it could be teachable to other people that follow her. Why was it instant for you as a man of God to respond, not shake your partner who you're in the same house with? And why did you then look at it as she's attacking me? As opposed, what if she's just teaching the sons and daughters we have in the house? Were you and her not in a good place? Why was that your first line of thought?
Well, you've asked a very interesting question. That's why I said you will know the truth, and the truth will set you free.
Yes.
My line of thought is coming from the place of, here's my wife, she's complaining to me about how I'm not around. It's true. I'm not available. It's true. And then I see a post, because I just want to, the way you phrased it now, I want it to make sense. We are already discussing my absence when I'm present. We're already discussing that. So when that post comes up, it comes up as, why have you gone to social media over something that we are currently discussing? So I didn't think it's a post to teach other people. Because look, we are discussing this. Okay? And I wouldn't treat, my wife is aware that I loved my mother. May her soul rest in peace. I wouldn't think about anything bad about my mother. And most of my line of thought is around my mother. I wouldn't do anything that causes, you know, when I look at a woman, I look at my mother. So I don't want to do anything to a woman that I saw my own mother cry. Okay? My mother cried a lot. You see, it wasn't pretty. I don't want to go into it, but it wasn't pretty. My mother cried. So when the first sentence says, a man would not treat his mother, already
The way his father treated his mother.
Exactly. The way his father treated his mother. And it's not a secret. My father didn't treat my mother well. Okay? My mother suffered a lot. And I'm not here. My father is alive. I'm not here to bash my father. But this is the pain I carry in me. So now you have a husband that grew up in a dysfunctional family, that grew up almost not having a relationship with my father. And I've tried to have a relationship with my father. Not having a relationship with my father. And then I feel like my wife is comparing me to my father, like I'm treating her the way my father treated my mother. I felt it was unfair. I felt like, I remember when I was waking her up, I asked her, angrily, I asked her, do you have an idea what my mother went through? I think if I treat you the way my father treated my mother, by now would be divorced. Those were my words. So I feel like, to be honest, my wife says, even up until today, my wife says it was just a post. But I also feel like, knowing fully well the background where I come from, my wife would have been kind enough not to post that content whilst we are discussing my absence.
Speaking of discussing the absence, I want to understand exactly the time frame between the conversations you've been having with your wife about your absence and leading to this post. Is it something that has been like continuous, like, or maybe the time frame, the timing, maybe you spoke about it 2 days prior to the post?
Okay. Me and my wife are discussing issues surrounding, and I want to make it very clear. The problem here is not my wife. The problem is me. So we are discussing me with my wife. Like that very morning, we are discussing me. Prophet, you are never around, this and this. Your children are getting affected. And those were the words of my wife in the morning. Your children are getting affected. They can't concentrate in school. You are never around. So I'm trying to figure out a way to be available for my children, to be available for my wife that very morning. And I don't really check on my wife's Facebook like that, because I believe she's independent. She's a good woman. She knows what to post and what not to post. So that post, I want people to understand me. That post comes from a place of, I think we are dealing with this, and Facebook is not a place where you can catch something and say, I'm sharing it because I feel like that post resonated with my wife. I feel like that post was telling a certain story to my wife, that maybe I'm trying to become my father. I feel like that. I honestly feel like that because I've been an absent father. I'm not around. I'm always at the church. Sometimes I sleep at the church. I'm always not around. But I feel like if she communicated it to me that, Prophet, my husband, you've always said your father was not there for you. Don't you think that what you're doing now, despite you are paying their school fees, they are feeding, but you're never around, don't you think that what is happening now affect your children? I would have owned up to it because it's the truth. Let me tell you, there's that post is 70% true. Only in the context of being abusive. I'm not an abusive man. So in that context, it's not true. But in the context that my children have a void now, which I also had, but mine is different because there's also issues of not going to school, this and this. But my children have a void. They don't have a father. Right now, I'm more married to the church than I am married to my wife. I'm more committed to the people of God that God has entrusted to me than my family. And it's unfair. But what I'm saying, what I needed to say or what I needed to do, rather than responding to the post, because remember, The whole thing blew up because I responded.
Yes, absolutely.
I like that you've gotten to that.
Yes.
If you allow me to just probe a little bit, Prophet, your wife came forward on social media,
Yeah.
and she said it is just a post. And even with you, you've mentioned it in your personal capacity when it was just the two of you talking. She said it is just a post, right? But because you felt that majority of that does resonate with her, right?
Yeah.
And some things could be true. It is more than just a post. But she went on and defended herself and said, it's just a post. So now run us through this. With realization, one, when you spoke to your wife at 3 a.m. and she says it's just a post. Later on, you wake up, I'm assuming the next day, and
Yeah.
I stand to be corrected. You also then respond to the post using a social media post. What is running through your mind in this moment?
I responded to it at 3 a.m. At 3 a.m. I responded to it, and my wife deletes that post at 3 a.m. and she apologizes to me at 3 a.m.
Did you apologize to her because of, making
Yes.
this go to this extent, Prophet?
Well, I want to be, I'm a very honest person. I didn't apologize for that. And I'll tell you why. I feel that if my wife told me that that post is me venting out, it will resonate with me more as the truth than saying it's just a post. We're dealing with a real situation. Me and my wife are struggling. We are struggling in the sense that I am now an absent father, absent husband because of the ministry. Can we be realistic in telling each other the truth? I would be more grateful if my wife told me, husband, I'm sorry, I posted that on social media, but that is how I feel.
So even in the conversation just between the two of you, she still maintained that it's just a post, the same way it was addressed on social media, that it's just a post.
For her, she says it's just a post. But if it's just a post, then why is that post coming when we are discussing the same issue? And I feel like many women, when an issue has blown up, I feel like they lack the courage. I feel like what my wife is lacking is the courage to just say, my husband, you're a good father, this and this and this, but truthfully speaking, I feel like everything that you have told me happens to your mother. I feel like it's going to happen to us. What's wrong with that?
Man of God, just on that, you earlier mentioned that you feel like you are more committed to the church because of circumstances around in your ministry, right?
No.
Do you think maybe that has been a contributing factor for you not to create an enabling environment where your wife can freely open and vent to you, say, honey, I know you're really great in this sphere of the church, spiritual things, prophetic things, but in this area we're struggling. Do you think you've created an environment for her to be free with you like that, Prophet?
Well, I can allow my wife to answer that, but
from your side, yes.
The prophet Ian Genesis that all of you know, and the prophet Ian Genesis that my wife knows, these are two different people. At home, I'm the person you can talk to. You can. I love to talk about things than keeping those things hanging. So when you talk about creating an environment to speak, I believe my wife has spoken to those issues. These are the issues. But you see, when you are me, being me, I feel that the more the ministry grows, the more the name grows, the more the influence grows, the more I feel like it's going to be very difficult for me to be the things I want. I can't choose to be, you know, a husband. You can talk to a husband and say, you don't have time for us. The following day, he'll come home early, right? But it's different for me. We can have a conversation with my wife right now that, okay, you have not been home, you're going to stay home. Tomorrow we are going to see a movie. That's tomorrow. Then the following morning, the duty, the office calls and says, Prophet, there's an issue you have to deal with. I remember there was a time I was flown to Mfue for a very, very sensitive matter. And it was at the time when I'm landing from Nigeria. I'm landing today and I'm flying out tomorrow. So it's very, very difficult. I'm struggling. I want to agree that I'm struggling. I'm struggling with getting to address what my wife wants to address, and I'm coming to your question. That is why I feel that that post was addressing me, because, you know, when you address someone over something, you expect a change.
Yes.
And I'm not changing.
Oh, you're admitting that you're not changing.
No, I'm not changing, not because I don't want to change. I live in a world that an issue of someone requires me a certain level of consecration. Now imagine you are dealing with something with your husband and then he does the opposite tomorrow. You feel like he's just overdoing things.
Man of God, while we speak on this, we will own up to the fact that your wife is a woman of God.
Yes.
I'm a married woman.
Yes.
And one thing I need to put out there, and I'm sure even for certain viewers that are watching and listening to this, is for each man, there's a certain type of woman that carries grace for a certain type of man. For a woman of God, there's a grace that a woman of God has for a man of God. Yes, there's complaints that are made in the capacity of a wife, right? But is there a possibility that, as she has stated it, this was just a post? In that, I even mentioned this off script, Chichi. I think I mentioned this to you. I personally have come across this post before, in verbatim, as it is. I've come across it. I've even saved it because I was like, oh, this is really interesting. This is good content. We come across relatable content. Kula bana wasakuchita meet content and that ashtata ama busy sana baresa late. Bana mayo we forget about it. You find it. Maybe is there a possibility that, as opposed to it being a personal attack to you, maybe in that moment she just didn't acknowledge sensitivity to the fact that you could relate to the matter? But is there a possibility that it is just as she has said it, that it's just a post? Because 8 years in marriage, this woman has stood by you. 8 years in marriage, this woman has handled every other issue that comes with being a woman of the house, a wife to a man of God, which is one of the hardest tasks in the world.
And it's harder for my wife.
So now, imagine you who's even in the limelight. But maybe in that moment, it was just a flaw as a human being, right? In that, like, maybe there's somebody who opened to her in confidence, and she's like, you know what? Some ladies need to learn that, especially for single ladies, that your men, as you're picking your men, make sure you observe how their past is like this, and maybe it had nothing to do with you in that moment. Is there a possibility that it really was just a postman of God, and maybe she lacked sensitivity and there was a flaw, so maybe bad timing?
Okay, let's agree that it's just a post. Okay, let's agree that it's just a post. But I tend to refuse, you know, who you get advice from matters, and how you get it, when you get it. So if it's just a post, you get inspiration by the post and you want to post it. I believe from where we are now, we're able to learn that there are certain things that even no matter how much you like them, you must be sensitive to how it's going to make your partner feel. Remember, I'm not one to respond to my wife on social media. I respond to my wife because I'm hurt. And it pains me to the core, such that I lose my image, who I am, and I begin to type. Many husbands would beat their wife because of that post. Why? Not because it was, the wife says it's just a post, but because, like you've rightly put it, the sensitivity around what you are dealing with.
Yes.
Women must also learn to own up to the fact that there's no such a thing as just a post. I want to say this as a pastor. There is no such a thing as just a post. Human beings resonate and relate to things based on how they feel at that particular time. So because of how they feel, they post. That post would have meant nothing if me and my wife are not talking about me in the morning. It would have made it would have been a teaching.
Yes.
But when are you teaching? So are you telling me that because I responded to the post of my wife on Facebook, it means that the issues that we are addressing are not real? They are real. And we are addressing them there and then. So if you're addressing an issue on ground, why not avoid any post that looks like you are relating to that issue? It's like a person, let me say something strange. It's like a person says all men are dogs, and that person was just dumped the previous day. Are you telling me it's just a post? It can never be a post. It resonates with what is happening with you. And I'm telling you on this show that with my busy schedule and how spiritual I've become and where God is taking us, I am unavailable for my wife, and I'm an absent father.
Got it.
We get it, man of God. Let's now look. Should be a day or so after we did see your wife going live and clarifying a few things. If we could have the director maybe cue that in as I talk over it. I'm sure certain people have come across it, but I think it's been since deleted. She went on to talk about how obviously the post was misconstrued, like people misinterpreted. But if you go in the comment section, people are saying it is not actually the people, it is you, man of God. But I think for a context, the director said we cued in. Let's have a look at this.
There's no divorce happening. Our marriage is not on the rocks. Nothing of that sort. So get it out of your heads. And then secondly, there's a post that I copied and pasted on my Facebook. So if you read that post at the bottom, there's a name there. That's the name of the author of that post. So that post was a copy and paste. It's not something I thought of. It's not something that I typed. It was a copy and shared post. Quite unfortunate. It didn't sit well with it. It was shared as a teaching, a general teaching, I believe. It was shared as a general teaching. So it was quite unfortunate that it was misunderstood, and it's still being misunderstood by some people. So that post was not talking about my husband. No, it was not talking about my husband whatsoever. Yes, we could have issues here and there, but it's nothing in those lines that post or anything in those words that post has. So if any of you feel to say, those were my words, those were my thoughts, that's exactly what I was thinking and whatnot. No. That is not my husband. My husband is a very good man. He's a very good, loving man. He might come out rough to people. Like some of you feel like he comes out rough, he comes out whatever way that you feel he comes out, but that's not the man that I live with. No, it's not. He's a very sweet, gentle, loving man. Very loving, trust me, very, very loving. And he's not like that. And then I saw another lady saying she prayed. Come on. What did you pray? What did you pray? Esther is saying sometimes silence is the best way to resolve issues. It's not everything. Okay, I need to explain. I need to clarify this because it has been going on since Friday, and today is Monday. It's like a week plus. It's been going on and on and on and on, and people are starting to take advantage of that, which is wrong, which is not right. That is why I'm addressing this issue. So you're coming to tell me to say that silence is the best issue. On this, silence is not the best issue. I've been silent since Friday. We've both been silent since Friday. And the issue keeps growing and growing and growing. So silence is not the best issue on this. Thank you very much. So there's no divorce happening. Our marriage is not on the rocks. Everything is okay. We are growing and learning. So anybody that is or wants to attack me or my husband because of that shared post, it's up to you. But the thing is, there is nothing wrong. Everything is okay. So that's all I wanted to tell you guys, that we are okay. Everything is okay. We are not getting a divorce. Not today, not tomorrow, not anytime soon. Good. God bless you. Thank you.
There we have it. That is what the woman of God had to say, and she kept on re-emphasizing that it was a shared post and also people misunderstood. Now, before I went to the clip, I think I was earlier alluding to the fact that, a lot of people said it is not really the people in the comment section, it is actually the prophet who misunderstood, and then this thing just blew out of proportion. Which leads me to my question, man of God, of conflict resolutions in marriages. And in this context, we're not just talking about an ordinary marriage. Right. It's a marriage of a man of God and a woman of God who people hold in high regard. Where are we now in terms of conflict? Because the fact that she made that video, we don't know whether there was a time where you sat down with your wife and said, you know what, this has happened, let's move on. And also because that post was deleted. So where are we in terms of, this conflict? Was it resolved? Did you two have a sit down?
Okay, this is what we're doing currently right now. The biggest problem in the church is that we think everything is spiritual. So one of the things that my wife and I agreed in this situation is that we are not going to call upon fathers of faith to come and pray with us and counsel us. But we decided to go the way of Dr. Nelly Kangwa, who is a professional counselor and life coach. I believe that we need to address it physically. We are going to do the praying as men of God. I can pray for my marriage. I pray for people's marriages. But in this situation, I feel like for us to go responding, my wife says it's just a post, but I responded. So for me to begin to respond to posts, it means there's a problem.
That's right.
And in acknowledging that problem, that is why we've sought for professional help. And we are currently doing that right now as we speak. And there's, when everybody was talking about it on social media, divorce, in our house, there was nothing like that. It can amaze you to know that not even the issue of both sides of the family being caught together has happened. Because we felt that, when we woke up that morning, I personally owned up and I said, I didn't do well. I didn't do well as a man of God and as Prophet Genesis. I didn't do well. And I'm the reason why it blew, So I owned up to it. And My wife also owned up to it, and because of that, we didn't want to put everything under the mat. We went to do, and sessions are going on for counseling, life coaching, and I feel like we in the church lack that.
I like that you stated that. I mean, I'm married, and ooh, give me a shot. You know, whenever I remember, you know, Chichi.
I've been there, done that.
I know. It's okay. It's okay. You know, as a married woman, there's so much pressure sometimes on married couples. The expectation that everything has to be perfect,
Yes.
and that you have to be all bubbly, and there's how people perceive this thing.
Absolutely.
So it's good, and I like that you've mentioned, because the church ushers us into marriage. And when problems arise, the church is the first to help deal with it. But in certain instances, I like the statement that you said, not everything is spiritual. Some things do need help from a life coach, a mentor, a counselor, to be able to guide you as well in how you're navigating your issues and your problems in the home. So I like that you're seeking professional help. You know, Sheen, man of God, you know, as a married woman, again, I also want to say this. I don't know that as a married woman. If you have man of road, Chichi. Man of God, you pushed it. On a light note, you went at it.
I'm Prophetia and Genesis.
Sir, because you know, Chichi, even as I was reading this, she kept emphasizing that this was a shared post.
Yes.
Okay? And there's even an author. The good part is she shared the post with the author at the bottom, Daphne Jewel M. One of the things that Prophet had written, I can relate. That same. Let me start somewhere better. At the very bottom of his post, he did highlight, say, I have seen a lot these past few days and remained silent. Not because I don't have a lot to say, but many other times I choose not to divorce because I come from the very situation I'm about to replicate. He goes on to say, may I remind you that this S25 Ultra Samsung you are using
it is here
to insult your father and disrespect my mother's history was bought by a bad man you are describing and using a phone half the price of your phone. Woman of God, I just want to mention, you know, sir, you know, now that the air has been cleared, we are grateful as wives when you do these nice things for us. You know, because as a wife, Chichi, let me be honest.
Masuka, baby girl, Masuka.
These men, they take care of us.
Yes, and it's such a nice thing.
Because me, I have, usually when I'm upset, I even have where I store to my posts. I can relate to this. I can relate. And that's what I'm saying, was just the post. This is why I'm emphasizing on this. It doesn't mean that we go through things, sir. We go through things. Obviously, your case is different.
Yeah.
We go through things, and sometimes you're not in a good mood as a wife. So when I read his post, I said, dear, I'm in the phone with saving you. You're in the iPhone something. They will watch it. They're saving it up. Man of God, forgive us. I was on a light note.
Yeah.
So I think it's just, I just want to echo what you've stated, that it's very important that we get external help as well, and it's okay. It's okay to add on and be able to just talk about this. Now, sir, you as a man of God, leading a church. So, woman of God, leading a church. And obviously, there's people that have been affected by this.
Yes.
You in your home are dealing with it. You're managing this situation. Both of you even know it's not as extreme as it's been blown out of proportion. As you've confirmed, you are navigating things in the background.
Mm-hmm.
But how do you think this will affect your followers, especially those seeking to be married off by you?
Now, it might interest you to know that I actually have a wedding ceremony on Saturday.
Hallelujah.
And I'm marrying off somebody on Saturday, this Saturday.
Nice.
And when that couple came for their last session of counseling, you know what they said to me? They said, we know you.
Amen.
We know you. People are asking, is the wedding going to hold? Is Papa and Mama together? They said, we go to the house. These two are together. You see, one of the problems of the church is to refuse to agree that because you are married, you cannot have problems. Well, my issue came out online, and it's not born out of infidelity. It's not born out of lies. It's not born out, it's actually born out of just me not being available. But we need to get to a place where it becomes normal for a man of God to share
Yes.
that they are having problems. You see, one of the things I refused to do was to come to this show and tell you that there's no problem. That's a lie. And many men of God and women of God are living a lie. And that is why we cannot get the adequate help, because we don't agree that we are having problems. So when those people who follow me, most of them follow me because they are having problems, right? And some of their problems are spiritual, some of their problems are physical. I'm having a physical problem. Why not handle it, navigate around it? I thank God for the people who are praying for us, but it would be a little bit extreme to say because Prophet Ian had an issue in his marriage, he can't marry me off. Remember, I had an issue and we have not divorced. But there are men of God who had an issue, it was all over social media, only when they were divorcing.
Right.
So mine is different in the sense that I'm able to navigate better marital issues because I've gone through it.
In your capacity as a prophet, I saw a comment, someone saying, how come the prophet didn't foresee that this was going to happen to him? And also, some people are attributing it to some time back you had a fallout with Lillian. And, you know, there's been allegations that you've been cursed and stuff like that. What is your comment towards that?
Okay, I'm going to say this in less than 2 minutes because there's a unique story around me and Lillian. Me and Lillian used to be very close. Okay, 2020, 2021, me and Lillian used to be very close. But we had a fallout because Lillian wanted to buy me. Okay? She wanted to buy me.
What do you mean by buy you?
Lillian has a tendency of giving young men of God money and in return sleeps with them.
The views expressed on this show by prophets do not in any way represent the views of Crown Television. You can go ahead, sir.
Yeah, so Lillian at some point wanted to give me £2,000 in an exchange to coerce me into a relationship, which I refused because remember, I'm not all these boys around. I've seen money, I've handled money. So from that also, she developed a grudge. And after that, there was an incident also that happened where the death of former President Lungu, many people thought I was inclined to PF. When I stood with His Excellency, the President of Zambia, Mr. Hakainde Hichilema, to say the right thing to do was for President Lungu to be buried in Zambia, it gave Lillian Mutambo an opportunity, you understand, to attack my persona. So, if Lillian Mutambo is saying I'm cursed, Lillian Mutambo has been married multiple times. Who is the person that is really cursed? When Lillian Mutambo expresses the things that she expresses towards me, is because she could not have me. You understand? It doesn't come out of, you know, this is a person that is going through something. It comes out of anytime something happens that concerns me, she wants to get back at me. She said so many things in the past. And remember, I was praying for Lillian Mutambo. There are many things that I know about Lillian Mutambo, but it might interest you. Why is it that every time there is something to do with Prophet Ian Genesis, she will always be on the offensive? You understand? You can go around social media, many people, including, I was so shocked that Mr. Simon Mwewa is one of the people that actually said, before we comment on this issue, let's try and understand what's going on. If people like Simon Mwewa, who says my papas everywhere, will sit down and say what really is going on, why would you, a self-acclaimed woman of God, say you prayed for another woman's marriage to break? That somebody is operating under a case, and that case, the only situation that will happen is their marriage to break. At least if Lillian said my finances will go down, I'm very financially sound, and what would that case affect? My home. You know, it's very unreasonable, and I want the Zambian people to be aware from today that I refuse to become a Ben 10 of Lillian Mutambo. That is the reason why Lillian Mutambo attacks me. But she cannot continue to do that. You know, this is real. She's married. She can go through marital issues. She was going through marital issues recently. And we can stand with her and pray with her. Must it always be that when people go through things, you must go and bash them? It's not right. You know, I feel very bad that I have to share this on a TV platform, but it has gone out of line that because you could not sleep with someone, you are willing to go to an extent of destroying them.
I think we need to make sure we stop this conversation right now, because we don't want a situation where you know, Lillian feels attacked and she's not here to defend herself. But I think we've got in context of where you're coming from and how people need to do better, especially if you're passing through, you are in a marriage as well, you know. So it's good that you've aligned us, and please, by all means, the views again expressed by the prophet do not in any way represent the views of Crown Television.
But you know, Chichi, now that she's spoken about it that way, man of God, what advice would you give to couples that are going through challenging issues in their marriages, especially for couples that are watching, you know, and may not know how to go about it? Every route, whatever it is, but they just want to find a way to be able to get through this difficult patch they're in their marriage.
Number one, couples must talk.
Yes.
They must talk. Whether they are talking, they are angry, they are shouting, they are screaming, as long as it does not become violent, they must talk. You know, that's why I told you I have a lot of personalities. I talk, and there's a time I just become silent. I become mute. And I know there are men who are like me sometimes. I'm now describing me. Sometimes my wife will be talking about something, and if I'm hearing it concurrently, I become mute. You know, I can become mute for 5 days. I'm not talking, because that's what some other men do. So my advice to them is that talk and talk and talk. Then number two, before you think something spiritual is attacking you, do a character assessment of yourself. Because many other times we say, this is a spiritual battle, this is a spiritual warfare that is going on. Imagine if I took my wife's comment on Facebook and I said, because you have written this and this and this and this, there are less divorce. Do you know that my point will be valid? It would be. And a whole lot of people in Zambia will support me. Why would my Busa write such a thing about the prophet?
But the Bible says, is it only based on adultery?
No. Right now, people divorce for different reasons.
Okay.
Remember, I felt like this is disrespecting my parenthood, my growing. So that's reason enough for me to do that.
But the Bible doesn't allow that.
And I'm also telling you that when the Bible talks about the context of adultery, it puts a caveat, because adultery in that time, okay, in that time, was the only reason why people would defile their own body. You are sexual immorality defiles his own body. But you see, people can divorce now for battering, abuse. So are we saying that God allows you to be in a marriage where you are being abused? No. You are allowed to leave. So in that context, scripture must not be misinterpreted. People can divorce for a whole lot of reasons. People can even be divorced for lack of compatibility. You just find yourself that this thing is not working. We've tried everything, what is not working. Why I'm saying so, look, I'm not willing to divorce my wife because this thing is working. We're just having misunderstandings.
Yes.
But if you find yourself in a situation where it's not working, it's okay to divorce. Then the third advice I would give to people is that, do you really pray for your marriage? That's how I knew that this is not a spiritual attack. Because I pray for my marriage. You know, coming from a family where there is divorce, I seriously pray not to divorce. So if somebody came to me and told me, no, the devil is just attacking you, I'll say no. Because I pray for my marriage. So pray for your marriage. Find out whether your issue is working. If it's not working, leave it and talk.
Awesome. Right. We need to close the conversation. And like I said earlier, we usually invite the man of God on different issues, not this type of conversation. But I'm really hoping that people out there have gotten the clarity that they wanted concerning this matter of our prophet Ian Genesis and his wife. But quickly, man of God, August is coming and you're a prophet. Hallelujah. Who is winning the election, sir?
Chichi, be careful. Be careful, Susan Kala happy so. Hey, no, I want to just echo Chichi's words. He just welcome in English. Kuti, the views
expressed
on this platform.
It is not in any way.
Around the crown TV.
Yes.
Oh my church and I. It is the views of the man of God.
Okay. I think in the last 1 month, I've been asked this question twice. And I think I need to give a clearer response, because I think you're coming from a place where you heard my response and it was not clear. Well, we're going into elections in August. And I want to be very, very honest with you. Very honest. Because sometimes we prophesy without giving people context. Okay? So number one, I want to say it on this TV that come August 2026 and God graces President Hakainde Hichilema with good health, he will win the election. That is a fact. And why is it like that? Because there is nobody in Zambia right now that can challenge President Hakainde Hichilema and win. That is the reality. And the other thing which I have to add, you know, the Kwacha right now is performing as one of, and if not the best performing currency in the whole world right now. Kudos to President Hakainde Hichilema for this development, because it is something that every Zambian must be proud of. So if you ask me any other day, between now and August, God gives grace to President Hakainde Hichilema that he will be in good health. August election is still winning it.
You heard it first right here on Crown Television, and we'll be able to play this clip come August, and I'm sure transmission is already cutting. But man of God, thank you so much for coming on the show, and we're happy that it's clear that there is no divorce.
No, there is no divorce.
It's just a situation that has happened, and it's not even spiritual.
It's a misunderstanding.
Good, great.
Everybody happy kunyumba.
No, my wife is home.
Hallelujah. In fact, maybe we should have had both of them.
I think next time we should. We really should have both of you, because it's a really interesting topic. But you know,
but I'm trying as much as possible now that I think, you know, all this bashing, I'm used to it.
Okay.
I don't want to expose my wife to all this. My wife is a good soul. You know, me, I'm used. They can bash me. Even after this thing, they'll bash me. But I'm used to that. I don't want to expose my wife to all that. But if you want to have her, she can come. But Zambia is not friendly when it comes to social media.
You know what? We could talk for a long time, but we've got to go. Chichi, we have to go.
Absolutely.
It has been an amazing, amazing show. I know we will see more of the prophet very, very soon. Hopefully sooner than you know we plan on. But we know for sure in regards to elections.
Yes.
And in August, we will compare the notes and just make sure they're aligned. Thank you so much, man of God, for coming through. We're glad you did come through.
Thank you so much, Chichi.
Awesome.
Thank you so much for having me, guys. You are such amazing people, Mianda. Thank you.
Man of God. Man of Jesus. I'm just
joking.
No, I'm not joking.
Off screen.
Off screen.
Try to prophesy to her. Clear something.
Hey, what is it now? Thank you so much for watching My Church and I. A reminder to make sure you follow us on all our social media platforms. That is Crown TV Zambia, as well as 277 on DSTV 22 on GoTV 89 on Top Sun 543 on the Star Times as well. A big shout out to Fashion World Zambia for dressing us and always making sure we're looking gorgeous. And remember, this is the first season of My Church and I. Conversations around the church could be comfortable or uncomfortable. On behalf of Mainza, our guest today, Prophet Ian Genesis, myself, the entire production team, continue watching Crown Television. See you next time.